What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to be examining all the drivers that are currently on the playoff bubble, and I'll be talking about which race they potentially could win and their best opportunity that they could possibly win at before the playoffs begin. We have 5 races to go in the regular season, and 14 drivers will lock in the playoffs with the win, meaning only 2 spots currently are available in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and examine all the drivers that are in the playoff bubble. We're going to start off with Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney's actually sitting, I think, 3rd or 4th in the regular season standings right now, but because of the playoff grid, with him not having a win this year, Ryan Blaney is currently 15th in the playoff standings and is 105 points above the cutoff line. He lost a lot of ground this past weekend at Pocono. Now, Ryan Blaney has been really quick and has had a lot of pace and a lot of speed. I think Ryan Blaney has the best chance anybody on this list to make their way into the playoffs and be safe into the playoffs, but he cannot have any more bad runs. Now, where is Blaney's best opportunities and best chances to win at? First one, I think, is going to be Michigan. Michigan is a race he won last year and showed a lot of pace and a lot of speed. I think he's going to be really fast at Michigan. Another track is going to be, of course, Daytona. Ryan Blaney's been historically really good at Daytona. He's won 1 or 2 races at Daytona International Speedway. He's been close to winning the Daytona 500 multiple times, and he's one of the best super speedway drivers on this list of drivers who can still advance their way. I think Blaney's going to be really quick, very fast, and I think he'll have a chance to win. There's 2 or 3 races I think he can win, but I think he's got the best opportunity of anybody to make the playoffs. The next driver we're going to talk about is a driver that's currently 16th and last currently in the playoffs, Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. currently sits, I think, 4th or 5th in the regular season standings and currently sits 83 points above the cutoff line. Now, Martin Truex Jr. you would think would be safe, right? No, not even close to at the moment. Now, Martin Truex Jr. has shown some pace, some speed at some of the short tracks this year, and at New Hampshire really convinced me that he's back in the game. Now, where's Martin Truex Jr.'s best chance to make the playoffs? I think the best chance for him to make the playoffs, absolutely, and get in on a win, is going to be at Richmond. Richmond, historically, for Joe Gibbs Racing, has been a really awesome track for Joe Gibbs. I think they've won 7 or 8 out of the last 9 or 10 races at that racetrack, and I think that experience of being really good at that track, I think is really going to come into play. He also could win Michigan. It's another track where he's been really good at in the past, but I think Martin Truex Jr.'s best opportunity to make the playoffs is going to be Richmond. I think he's going to be really fast at that track, and I think he'll show a lot of pace there. And now we're going to get to the guys that are below the cutoff line. The first driver that currently sits below the line to get in the playoffs is Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick currently sits 83 points below the cutoff line currently at the moment. Now, Kevin Harvick, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, has been showing a lot of pace. He had one of the best cars in New Hampshire a couple weeks ago and was on the verge of potentially having a chance to win at Pocono before getting involved in the dicey-ness between Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain in the closing laps. I think Kevin Harvick's going to have a couple opportunities where he could possibly win at, and I think there's a chance he could get on a win. Where's his best chances? I think there's 2 tracks come to mind. The first one is Richmond. Richmond is a track where Kevin Harvick showed a lot of pace there. He was up front in that race and was actually ended up finishing 2nd in the race. I think Harvick's got a shot to get it done there. The other track, like I said, is Michigan. Michigan, Kevin Harvick historically has been great at. I think he's won there 4 or 5 times throughout his entire career. And I think if there's a track where Harvick can race well, plus earlier this year at Auto Club, which is a track that's very similar to Michigan, I think he was really good there, got a top 10 there. So I think Kevin Harvick's going to be really fast there, and I think Kevin Harvick will have a good chance. It's a shame that Harvick makes the playoffs because Kevin Harvick is in the top 10 in the regular season points. Has actually been a little bit better this year than he's been last year. So we think it's going to turn around for Kevin Harvick, and he has a chance. The next driver sitting below the cutoff line is Aric Almirola. Now, Aric Almirola currently sits 140 points below the cutoff line and currently sits way below. Now, Aric Almirola has been a driver that's been up and down so far this year. Now, in the regular season standings at the moment, Aric Almirola, I believe, will be sitting 12th or 13th from the points, which actually is a pretty good year for Aric Almirola, and definitely compared to last year, he has been a lot better. There's also been a lot of inconsistencies from the 10 this season. Now, where's Aric Almirola's best opportunity to win? I think his best opportunity, well, he's got 2 potential opportunities. The first one is Richmond. Richmond is historically a great track for Aric Almirola. In fact, I think one of his best tracks outside of super speedways on the circuit. And then the other one is going to be Daytona. Daytona, he's already won there back in 2014. He's a pretty solid super speed racer, and the only laps he's led so far this year have come at Atlanta Super Speedway, where he led 6 laps there. So I think if Aric Almirola is going to want to make the playoffs, I think his best chance to make it is Daytona. He could get in with a win or 2 wins, but I think he's going to have to potentially win 2 races, but there's a couple tracks where he can win at. The next driver we're going to talk about is Erik Jones. Now, Erik Jones currently sits 192 points below the cutoff line, but without that major penalty he got this past weekend for messing with the rocker arms on the car, for Penny GMS messing with that, Eric Jones lost 35 points, meaning instead of being 157 points back, being kind of close to Eric Almirola, Eric Jones now 192 back. Now, Eric Jones does have a few potential opportunities, and I think he's made that 43 car a lot better, and they're really close to extending Eric Jones at least for a couple more seasons. They're working on a multi-year contract extension that's probably going to be announced here in the near future. Now, where's Eric Jones' best opportunity to win it? I think his best opportunity is going to come at two potential racetracks. The first one is going to be Michigan. Michigan, historically for him, has been pretty good. He's been up front in a lot of those races. And a track I think is going to race very similar to Auto Club. If you saw the race Auto Club earlier this year, that race where Eric Jones ended up being one of the fastest cars there. I think he nearly won the pole, started in the front row, and led quite a few laps there. One of the most underrated performances of the season for Eric Jones. I think this is going to be his best chance. Also, Daytona, of course, was up front at Talladega. Was also up front at Atlanta Superspeedway in both races there. I think that's going to be his best opportunity and best chance to make the playoffs. I think Eric Jones will definitely be a threat to make the playoffs in a couple of those races. The next driver we're going to talk about is Austin Dillon. Now, Austin Dillon right now currently sits 216 points below the cutoff line. Austin Dillon's probably just been the most average driver out there. He's just been there. Now, he's had a couple really strong performances this year. You look at Martinsville, he ran top 5 a majority of that race. In fact, I think he had a finishing 3rd, which is really impressive. He's had a couple other good runs. Outside of that, though, Austin Dillon has just been there. He really hasn't done much, to be honest. Now, where is Austin Dillon's best opportunity going to be? I think there's two tracks that come to mind. First one, very similar to Eric Jones, is going to be Michigan. He's been really, really fast in Michigan in the past, and I think that's going to be a great opportunity for him to win out there. He's been great at that track. He looked last year before he had some issues with Keselowski. He was up front in that race and contending. I think he's going to be a threat there. Another track is going to be Richmond. Why did I bring up Richmond? Well, Austin Dillon historically has been pretty solid at Richmond throughout his career. Remember, a couple years ago in 2020, in the September race, Austin Dillon was actually leading a lot of laps, ended up finishing in 3rd or 4th in the race, and was up front in a majority of that race. So I think if there's a driver that could really surprise at Richmond, could be there. And then, of course, Daytona is an opportunity too. That's could be where Austin Dillon has an opportunity to win. The next driver we're talking about is a driver of the 23 for 2311 Racing, Bubba Wallace. Now, Bubba Wallace currently sits 246 points below the cutoff line. Now, in the regular season standings, he currently sits 21st in points and is closing on guys like Eric Jones and Austin Dillon. Bubba Wallace, over the last couple weeks, has had a lot of really strong runs. His average finish in the last 3 races in an 8.3. Has had 2 straight top 10s. In this past weekend, for the first time in his Cup career, got back-to-back top 10s. Bubba Wallace has been definitely emerging over the last few weeks. So, where could he win that? Obviously, everyone looks at Daytona as his best opportunity to win. But I think Bubba Wallace, in all honestly, could win at pretty much any of the upcoming races. He's been really historically good in Michigan. That's a great track where he could have an opportunity. Of course, Daytona, he's been good there as well. But there's a lot of places where Bubba Wallace could really go out there and win. The 23 team's just been absolutely improving, and it would not surprise me if Bubba does get a win before the playoffs happen. He's a great driver. He's been absolutely improving this year. I think he's got a shot to win at a couple races. Keep an eye on Bubba Wallace because I think he's going to be a driver that could surprise and steal a win here to get into the playoffs for 2022. The next driver we're talking about is a driver of the 31 for College Racing, Justin Haley. Justin Haley right now sits 257 points below the cutoff line and currently sits 22nd in the regular season standings. I think Justin Haley's had a pretty good year so far. I know 22nd isn't really that impressive, but considering the expectations for Justin Haley, he's done pretty good this year. Now, he's also had a lot of bad luck this year, which has been a major factor why he's this low in the points. Look back at the beginning of the year, it just seemed like throughout the beginning of the year, this 31 team could not catch a break. They lost a lot of positions. They had a lot of times where the crew chief was basically suspended, and he had a lot of issues. Now, where's Justin Haley's best opportunity going to be? I think there's one track where he really can go out there and win, and I think that's going to be Daytona. Justin Haley has only one Cup victory, but guess where that came? Daytona. You look at his Xfinity Series stats on super speedways, Justin Haley has generally been really, really good on those type of tracks. So I think Justin Haley is going to be a threat at that track, and I think that's going to be his best chance to make the playoffs. The next driver we're going to talk about is Chris Buescher, who drives 17 for RFK Racing. Now, Chris Buescher currently sits 23rd in the regular season standings, but in the playoff cutoff line, he currently sits 276 spots below the cutoff line. Now, Chris Buescher hasn't been pretty decent this year. In fact, I think he's better than his teammate that we're going to talk about here in the later portion of this video. But I think Chris Buescher has been really solid so far this year, especially on the road courses. Now, where do I think is Chris Buescher's best opportunity to win? 2 racetracks. This weekend at the Indianapolis road course is one of them. He's been great. Like I said, he's been really impressive at the road courses. He nearly actually won at Sonoma and was really fast at Road America as well. RFK just seemed to be much quicker at the road courses. The other track where I think his opportunity is going to generally come, I think is going to be at Watkins Glen. He's been really good at Watkins Glen historically throughout his career, even driving for JTG Doherty. He's done really good there. I think his best opportunity is going to be at one of the road courses. I know you've got Daytona as another opportunity, but I think that's going to be his best opportunity and best chance to get a win. I think those are going to be his best opportunities to win. Chris Buescher could still win in the playoffs. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. The next driver we're going to talk about is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 24th in the regular season standings and currently sits 297 points below the cutoff line. Now, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. started this year off very, very horrendously with only one top 10 in the first 10 or 11 races. But for a few races there, he had his first time where he got 4 consecutive top 10s, as has been pretty up and down over the last few weeks. Now, where is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s best opportunity to win? There's only one track where I see him winning, and I think that's going to be at Daytona. I know you've got tracks like Michigan where he could be his big surprise. He was pretty good at Auto Club, but I think that Stenhouse's best opportunity is going to come at Daytona. He just needs to go out there and win at Daytona. He's had some good runs there. He was in the running to win the Daytona 504, unfortunately getting wrecked by Brad Keselowski. I think Stenhouse's best opportunity is going to come at Daytona. The next driver we're talking about is Cole Custer. Now, Cole Custer currently sits 25th in the point standings and is 311 points below the cutoff line. Cole Custer has been pretty bad this year. Compared to his teammates, which all of them currently right now are in the top 16 of the regular season standings, Cole Custer's been getting outshined and outperformed by his teammates all year long, and it's just been a really disappointing thing to watch. I think Cole Custer should be in the Xfinity Series or with Ricker Racing at this point, but that's just me. Cole Custer only got one tracker I think he can win. I think that's going to be Daytona. Honestly, I'm not sure if he is. So I think he's a first driver really that I don't think he's got a race where he really can win. No disrespect to Cole Custer, but I just have not been impressed. He got his first top 10 a couple weekends ago at Atlanta since Dover last year. He just hasn't been a front end in contention in really any of these races, in my opinion. I'm not expecting much from Cole Custer. The next driver we're talking about is Michael McDowell. Now, Michael McDowell is 26 in regular season points and is 317 back. However, Front Row Motorsports got hit with a massive penalty, which dropped him from 217 back, which would have been around where Bubba Wallace is right now. In fact, Bubba would be basically right behind him, actually 22nd, and Michael would be 21st in the points. McDowell now is 101 points below the top 20 in the standings. Now, Michael McDowell has been really having a good year this year. It's a shame that this penalty really is going to affect him. Where is his best chance going to be to win? He's got a couple tracks. Look at the road courses. Michael McDowell's been really good at Watkins. Well, he's been decent on Watkins Glen. He's had some good pace there, but his best finish, I think, is 13th. You then go to Indianapolis. Indianapolis road course, he was pretty good there last year. I think he almost got a top 10 in that race and did pretty well there. And let's not forget Daytona. Michael McDowell's only Cup Series victory has come at Daytona. It really is a shame that Michael McDowell got hit with that big penalty, though, because I do believe that Michael McDowell would probably be in the playoffs right now if not for that situation. It really is a shame, but he's still got time to salvage the season. I think he can obviously get up at least 40 or 50 points. I think he can honestly get back to where he was. He only has to gain basically 70-something points, and let's be honest, Michael McDowell's been really good this year. It's a shame, though, that he got that penalty, but his best chances, I think, are going to be at Daytona or the road courses. The next driver we're talking about is Harrison Byrd. Now, Harrison Byrd currently sits 331 points below the cutoff line. Now, I'll be honest, my expectations were not really through the roof for Harrison Byrd coming in this year just because of the lack of experience, and he's been having not a good year. Now, he sits 27th points, which is better than where he was a few weeks ago, but good grief, Harrison Byrd has been disappointing compared to Matt DiBenedetto, who drove his car last year. So what is Harrison Byrd's best opportunity? It's going to be Daytona. Now, one thing to note is that Harrison Byrd actually had one of the fastest cars at Daytona before getting involved in the wreck. So he could pretty much absolutely steal a win and get a win at Daytona. Now, of course, if we do get more than 16 winners, Harrison Byrd absolutely will have to perform better. And really, he's not that far ahead of Corey LaJoie, honestly. If he has a lot of bad races, he could miss the playoffs. Harrison Byrd's best opportunity, I think, though, is going to come at Daytona. The next driver we're talking about is Brad Keselowski. Now, Brad Keselowski currently sits 345 points below the cutoff line currently at the moment. Now, Brad Keselowski's season kind of got impacted by that 100-point penalty, very similar to Michael McDowell's. He got impacted by that big 100-point penalty after Atlanta and has never fully recovered. Now, I think Brad Keselowski's best opportunity is going to be at Daytona, honestly. I think he has been showing more pace and speed over the last 2 weeks. He's had some top 20 runs, especially recently. Look at New Hampshire, he got a top 10, ran really good at Sonoma, and it seems like the 6 team is finally starting to click, and I think they can really start building toward 2023. It is a shame, though, that Brad Keselowski has to basically rely on getting a win at Daytona to make it, because I think that's the only opportunity he's going to have to win. But he could still win at a track like Michigan, where he's been pretty good at, but has never won there. But I think Brad's best opportunity is going to be at Daytona. The next driver we're talking about is Todd Gillan. Now, Todd Gillan currently sits 356 points below the cutoff line. Todd Gillan's only got one track where I think he can win at, and that's Daytona. No disrespect to Todd Gillan. I think he's had a pretty decent year so far in the Cup Series for being a rookie, but you expect more from a guy in the front row. Well, you don't expect much more considering Michael McDowell's not that much ahead of you now. But Todd Gillan's been kind of quiet this year. He has been generally better, though, than Anthony Alfredo was last year, which if there's anything to come from the season is he's been better than Anthony Alfredo. His only chance to win right now is going to be Daytona. That's the only opportunity I think Todd Gillan has to make in the playoffs. And the final driver currently in the top 30 in points we can examine is Ty Dillon. Now, Ty Dillon's 30 from the points at 370 back. He also got hit by that massive penalty, and that would right now put him 28th from the points instead of 30th. Ty Dillon's season's been a really big struggle, and that's the reason why they're dropping him at the end of the season. Now, Ty Dillon's only got one opportunity where I think he can win, and I think that's going to come at Daytona. Ty Dillon has had some decent pace on the super speedways, and I think his only chance is going to be at Daytona. That's his best opportunity to win, and I think that's the only place he can probably go out and win, in my opinion. So anyway, that is going to be it for today's special NASCAR video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. Of all the drivers that are currently on the playoff bubble, which driver do you think has the best opportunity to make it, and who will be the biggest surprise to make the playoffs as well? Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to have 2 videos on the channel. The first one being looking at some NASCAR news. There's not too much right now to examine, but there'll be some stuff to definitely talk about. And then on Friday, and then also, of course, after the Campbell Truck Series race, we'll have a review for that. So 2 videos coming. Saturday, we'll have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review after the Indianapolis Road Course race. And then Sunday will be the Cup review as well. Very busy day coming. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some other great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.